Hello and welcome to another MTT, which is a multi-table tournament. This one was 27 cents buy-in and it was played with about a bit above 5,000 people. It's a turbo, which means that the blinds will go up pretty fast. Let me unlock the layout a bit and put these to the top because else that's not gonna be looking nice, will it? Like, I don't think it's that relevant to look at the stats, but it's nice to have them there. So let's look and save and let's get going. So 4-5 here. Um, we're definitely not going to be contesting a bunch of hands early on. If you look at our stack size, it's 3,000. If you look at the blinds, it's 10 and 20, which means that the pot is 1/10. Before the blinds in general are 1/10 of our stack, or 100th of our stack, which means that it's just not worth contesting. Like, even if I win the pot, even if I win the 30, like my stack is going to be 3030 compared to 3000, and it's not going to be relevant in general. So I try to avoid playing hands early on, unless a hand like this. I've seen this guy in the previous hand, I skipped over it. Go beat ham or go beat whites to a bad thing, basically. A fishy thing, as they would say in poker terms. So ace-4 suited, it's not really that strong of a hand against an open in such an early position. Like these two people and these two people should actually only open with decent hands like ace-jack, two strong cards, or decent pocket pairs. But given that this guy decided to enter the pot and we have position, I'm willing to play this hand. These both fold, and we basically miss, but it gets checked to us. So I'm willing to, take a stab at this. Just bet, maybe take the pot down, but I'm not that confident in it, especially given if you see what they call me with. So they both call me. So at this point, I'm gonna give up. Like, if this was an ace, maybe. If this was a king of diamonds, maybe. But given that it wasn't, my hand is just ace high. It's never gonna be good. This guy then bets out for 20. Then this guy raises it. Shady, shady, shady. So definitely folding here. Like, I'm never continuing. I wouldn't even have called 20. And this guy calls, and then ace comes. And this guy open jams on the ace. So when he does this, I'm putting in on pocket eights, pocket deuces, pocket queens, because why else would you play this way? But it has to be at least like a set, ace queen maybe. But that's like the worst hands he can be doing this with. So when I'm in his position and I have to call, I have to have like ace king, kings, jack 10 obviously is snap call, but that's about it. So you have to think about what is this guy doing this with, and is my hand ever beating that? And if you put him on a strong hand like ace queen, ace king, a flopped set which is 2 2s, 2 8s, 2 queens, then your hand has to be strong. The guy obviously has the best hand possible, which is the straight. This guy just has a king. So I was right that this guy is bad, and I'm gonna exploit that in a hand later on. So I want to be in pots with this guy because it's very likely you can take this guy's chips, given that he just called here with a king and just a king, which definitely was not the best hand. But they both called me on the flop with the worst hand, so I bet one I was ahead. 5-3, I'm gonna fold. And here we have pocket eights. It's decent enough to open. This guy calls. I think this guy is pretty wide, but at this point, I don't know it yet, so I'm gonna put him on an ace. But then when the second ace comes, like I could bet here and get some value from like fives and lower. But I'm fine with checking. Maybe he bluffs on the river. River is actually a good card for us, but it doesn't bluff at it, and we just check behind. Like there's not much value to be gained. And he shows 10-3. Like I'm more interested. Like if you look at the hands, I'm more interested in knowing what he called me with from the small blinds, because we can use that information later, compared to betting and maybe getting like 50 chips. Again, It's not that relevant here. 50 ships are not that relevant. So 2-3. Guy had kings and open shoved. 2-8, definitely falling. 9-10. I'm just gonna go skip through some hands. Oh yeah, that hand. That hand was somewhat interesting in the sense that um, I think 4 people just call. Like this one calls, and this one calls, and then it checks all the way to the river. Like no action is ever done. It just goes check, and I win with the queen. Um, so they basically just gave me free money. I had nothing to do with it, or free ships is not money. I had nothing to do with it, and you can see what they had, what they actually limped with and had. So I'm gonna go jump through these hands. Like it's still early in the tournament. I'm not looking to do something ridiculous. Oh, this is a part where I use it. I expose this guy. So here we have 2 options. Like folding here is wrong. We're never folding this hand. We can raise, but given that this guy is, never folding, I think this guy is fishy enough that even if I go to like 300, these 2 will fold and this guy will still call. We can just pay 30 to win 240. I hope this guy just checks, which is very likely, and just hope an 8 comes. So we call, this guy checks, and there's no 8, but I mean they're all low cards. This guy checks. Oh, I obviously check. I'm considering what to do, and then the guy we consider to be bad just overshoves, like he puts his entire stack in. I thought about this spot for a while I was playing the hand. Like what is he doing this with? He could have something like which hands beat me, right? So a straight beats me, which is 4-7, and a 4-2. A set beats me, which is 2 3s, 2 6s, and 2 5s. 2 pair beats me, and I have to risk my entire ship stack to do so. Like I'm not getting that great odds. Even if he has the 6, let's put up Equilab. I'm gonna use this a bunch in this video, by the way. So the flop basically comes 3, 6, 5. We have 8, 8. And if we say our opponents can have like 3s, 4, 5, 6s, 7s, 9s, I don't think he's ever gonna have 10s and up. He could have ace 4. He could have like some random suited 4s, I guess. This guy, it's definitely possible he has like these hands. He could have well, maybe he has 4-7, but or 4 dudes, but that seems so unlikely, right? Like, does he really jam those? I don't think so. I think it's more like this is more realistic. And then probably like some random 6s. Let's put in like 9-6, like these kind of hands. Although 8-6 is very unlikely given that we have an 8. But like I wouldn't put it past him that he has those hands. So I think this is a realistic range to give this guy. Like possible hands he has. Now you can see it, right? Okay. Maybe it's a bit too tight even. And if we check it, we're ahead of that range by a bunch. So we have to call here. I think a call is correct, despite still 2 people behind me. So we call. Board runs out. We get a straight. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't really matter because guy that had 6, 10. Like I didn't even include that in the range. I just showed you guys. Just because that's how bad it is. And this guy raises again. I give no more respect to this guy's raises, like ever, in the entire tournament. Just because, he seems fishy as well and I haven't tagged as that. To tag is just put a label on someone. We would have flopped the best hand possible, like Jack 10. We had Jack 10. This guy raises, he calls, he bets, and then he goes all in. This guy is obviously the one at risk, but like, what is he doing this with? This makes no sense. If you have Jack 10, you just check call and let this guy, make a mistake on the turn. So I have no clue what this guy does this with, but this guy just snaps it off. Just instantly calls. And, he just had an ace and a 10. So he actually had like a pretty bad hand on this kind of board against this guy with aces, but I mean pre-flop, before any cards were dealt. This was pretty terrible by him. So yeah, definitely noting this down as well, like pretty bad. Also, stuff like this where you just call the big blind, I instantly right click the guy and give him a green color, because this is something I want to abuse. If someone does this, this can never be a strong hand, or this never should be a strong hand. Like, it's just a bad play. Like, it should at least make it 160, so maybe these two fold, but now he just gives him a free flop. So yeah, they get to see flops, and I take note on what kind of hands they do that with, and how I can use it against that. But we did double up pretty early thanks to this guy here somewhere. Or Wusetar previously, I think, is already bust now. And just jumping through more hands, nothing relevant. Yeah, okay, never mind. Like, I was thinking that I would have opened that, but someone before me did. So now there are antes in the pot, which means that outside of the small blind and the big blind, everyone has to pay a small fee as well, which makes it more interesting, right? If we now raise to something like 250, we only risk 250 to win 315, which means that you can make a profit pretty easily now. And given that it's a 27-cent tournament, normally the big blind, which is this guy in this case, because he paid the 120, should call with a very wide range. You will see me do that later on in the video. Just call there pretty wide. But I don't think people here realize that they should. But ace-8 is a bit too tight, and I'm just gonna fold it. Thank God, because I would have lost those chips. Just jumping through some hands again. Maybe I can select it a bit earlier. Yeah, okay. Again, just calling here, pretty bad. Probably lost a big pot as well. Ace Queen, pretty good tournament hand, so definitely gonna open. We probably go like 420, something like that, to win 525. Yeah, 425 is fine. We do get a call, just a single though, and we bet. We get a call. We hit our ace. Though if I was bluffing, like if I didn't have ace queen, if I had like 10-9 or something, I would definitely bet this turn. Like if he has a jack, like so let's say he has a jack, it's pretty hard for him to continue when the ace comes if I bet the ace. So it's a really good card for me to bluff at. Given that I do have an ace, I actually don't want him to fold a jack. I want him to, I check, he checks, and then I check the river, and I bet the river, and he then calls me with a jack. But he checks, which is standard here, and then the queen comes. Now, I think my size here might be a bit too big, like maybe 900 and a bit he would have called. We basically have the best hand here, right? Unless he has like king 10 of spades. Or yeah, he's gonna pay me off with like if this wasn't the queen, if this was like a 7 or something, or maybe an 8, and he has a jack, he's very likely calling this. But given that's I think I had to go for a bit lower for 900. Depends on what he has though, but I think that 1,350 is a bit too much for the pot. That has to be a fold. Yup. 2-8, queen 8, 4 king, 10-5, jack 5, 8-9. Man, these hands, I can't actually select them with Poker Tracker. It's pretty hard to do. Ace 4, we only have 16 big blinds because it's a turbo. It goes through a lot. We only have 16 big blinds. This guy is 17. This guy is 13. So if you lose this hand, we're gonna be pretty much crushed. And if they play correctly, let's say I raise to like a25 and then this guy calls, I'm gonna have a hard time playing this hand post flop because it's very unlikely I'm gonna have a good flop. So I'd rather just get it all in here and just say, well, what do you guys got? If it gets called, I probably have to improve. But ace four, any suited ace, by the way, like ace deuce and ace four and so on, has about 30% against any hand, at least 30% or 33% against any hands outside of aces, of course. Because if he has a pocket pair, you always can hit your ace. If he has another ace, you can always hit your 4, plus with flush draw, which gives like 2% or something. It's not that much, but it's something. Plus, the fact that the 4 is low is actually better. Like ace 4 suited is probably better than ace 6 suited, because ace 4 can make more straights. But it gets folded around. Here we have pocket fours. This guy this guy goes and raises to 3 times the big blind. Normally I would open with fours if it folded around to me, but it didn't. Like this guy opens and this guy calls, so I obviously fold the four. There's no point in paying this and then being left with 15 big blinds to play. The spot. Now we would have gotten there, but I mean, that just results oriented. You can't say, well, you would have gotten there, because I still think the folding the fours there is correct. Again, this guy, just limping from this position and then betting this, sizing on this flop. Definitely taking note of that. Like it's terrible play. Like makes no sense. What does it say that he has there? Just a bunch more hands. I think this guy opens. Yeah. Oh yeah, this hand. So this guy opens, and as I said, like I really don't give any respect to this guy with his opens. Like if you can see, he plays 44% out of his hands, which is way too many. And he's not that aware of his position either. He's not thinking, oh, I'm sitting here and there's so many people left behind me to act, I better have a strong hand. He doesn't think that way, or his stats don't indicate that he thinks that way. Normally this should be low, this should still be low, this should be a bit higher, and this should be a bit higher, and then here it should be somewhat high. But if you look at it, like it's going up, down, up, and it's way too high to what it should be. I think mine is a bit too low because I'm not that active early on, but it is a ring game. Like I can definitely do this. So if I give no respect to this, and then this guy calls, and if you look at his stats, he also has 40-30. Now haven't seen a showdown on this guy, or at least didn't have note at this point. But like just calling this can't be strong. So I figure if I have 13 big blinds and there's already 3,290 in the pot, like that's half of my stack in the middle. Like if I get it in right now and they both fold, which is likely, if I give no respect to this guy, it's very likely he folds, and this guy has to fold then because his calling can be strong here. I just pick up 9,000. Then even if I get called, I have a decent hand. I'm gonna have to improve. So I get it all in. This guy calls, which or actually rejams, which is somewhat annoying. But we river is straight, which is pretty nice, given that he actually had the speed this once. So we get lucky in the single spot. We actually get lucky, I think, 2 times. Pocket fives. I think I opened this. Nope, never mind. There's a limper. Limp. We could over limp this. We have to pay 1 big blind to see a flop of 2,000 something. But I'm just not a big fan of losing blinds in this situation, especially given that there were still 4 people behind me. I have no clue if I would won or not. I didn't check. Again, another limp. So jacking, like it's debatable. Maybe we raise here, but given that they just saw me do it with ace 5. But just look at this. Like there's 6 people who all just paid a big blind. This should never happen. Like this is unrealistic that this happens. Which is And then if you look at the hands, like it's just terrible. Like you can't play solid poker that, or they can't be playing solid poker like that. Has to be a mistake. Oh yeah, that's that hand. Um, I think I basically mess up here, given that it's this guy. I probably should bet twice. So we raise this guy's blind. He calls, like he calls with any two. We saw him call with 10-3, which isn't that bad. Like he just calls with any two. We flop nothing basically. But given that there are two low cards, he very likely doesn't have anything either. So I'm willing to bet is that Jack high probably isn't the best hand, but maybe he folds something like Queen high, some Ace high. If he has like 10-9, I don't want the 10 to come on the turn, so I'm willing to bet this and just make him fold. He decides to call though, which is okay. Now this card is somewhat interesting for me because it does give me the flush draw, and if he has like a 5, I still have 2 overcards. He checks again to me, and then I have a decision. I can bet here and take down this pot, or try to take down this pot, but is he ever folding a king? Probably not. He probably folds queen high on the flop, and he probably folds ace high on the flop as well. So he either has a pair, which he's probably not folding. He could have a king, which is not folding. Any other pair he could be folding, like if he has a 5 he could fold here, if he has 6s he could fold here, 7s, 10s probably not, although it's possible. But given that this guy is so wide, I figure that he's gonna call me way too often, even with a 3. Like, this guy is, like, I consider him to be a bad player, I consider him to make too many mistakes, and I think bluffing into him would be wrong. Given that I probably have to, barrel this one for like 1/3 of my stack, or maybe like 2,700 is gonna do as well. But I don't think it's a good spot to, like, it's a valid spot to bluff, and you can debate it. But I don't think against this specific guy, given that he's gonna call me with any kind of paired hand. River is a 3, not really a good card to bluff it as well. Just check, and he shows ace high. I have no clue. Like, he called me with an ace and of course a 2 to the straight. But this is a terrible call on the flop. And definitely took a note of that as well. King 3 is a goner, and here we have pocket kings. Pocket kings, probably one of the best hands in the game. Actually, second best hand. Though we do have one issue, is that this guy is already all in. I could have just, said, well, I'm all in, what do you got? But given that these two are, or at least this guy is not that great, and this guy, also has 41%, I'm willing to, just make it a little bit smaller and have them make a bunch of mistakes. They both call, by the way, which is fine by me. Like, I don't mind. But then, ace high flop against 2 other people, I'm not gonna be betting this. Like, it's very likely one of the 2 has an ace. So I just check, this guy bets, and then this guy calls. Which immediately says to me, I do not have the best hand. So I'm just gonna throw it away. Comes a 4, check, he bets, he calls. Another ace, he checks, he bets. And I'm actually surprised that this guy just called, by the way. But he just called. And he shows ace jack. He shows a6, which is a terrible hand, by the way. Although it is suited, but like, even then, this guy shows a jack. If he check raises there, this guy is still calling, and he should be aware that this guy is still calling. Like, what's beating him? Like ace king, ace queen, probably jams pre-flop. And every other raise, like ace 3, 2s, and 4, and ace 5. Sure, it hasn't beat, but do we really care at that point? I think he could have gotten way more if he was paying attention to how that guy is playing. So we switched position, by the way. It's another table. Ace 3 suited, again, same reasoning. There's already a bunch in the pot, 800, 1700, 2100, which is about 1/3. No, like a bit below 1/3, like 1.35 of our stack. So if you can pick this up, fine. And if you get called, we still have about 33% to win the hand. But everyone folds, and we actually, just pick up the pot, which is nice to have. Jack 9. This guy opens this guy raises and then we fold. Now if this guy just opens and this guy folds, I am definitely calling. But and then he folds as well. So I have no clue what this guy had or what this guy had. King 3 eats a gunner. Deuce 3 eats a gun. Oh, oh yeah, okay. So I just moved to this table, and this guy was pretty active, right? He's the one who went to 1,600 and followed this guy's all in. And then he played like two other hands where he just limped and did something, or raised and folded. Here he just limps, and I have King 5. Now, I basically considered his limp as non-existent, just more money in the pot, because you know this guy has played a bunch of hands, has already folded to this guy's all in. Limping can be strong, as I already said, and even if he calls, I'm very likely to be 40% here, but they all fold, and as you can see, like the pot is 3,700 thanks to this guy. We actually increase our stack size by a bunch. King Queen is a pretty strong hand. Given that we only have 11 big blinds, I think this is definitely worth getting it all in with. Again, 2,600 in the pot, which is 26% of our stack. So we're all in, and they all fold again. Again, this guy in the bottom, in the big blind, so definitely could be making a bunch of mistakes. Another guy I want to target. Again, blinds are 500, 1,000. Guy goes to 4,000. Can't be correct. Like it just can't be. Definitely folding. Like I'm only calling this with a really strong hand. Let's see what he had. Like I'm not sure anymore what he had there. He had pocket queens, and then this guy had ace 8. I have no clue what ace 8 is doing in there. But definitely noting that he went to 4 times the big blinds with a strong hand. This time we have pocket queens. We have 13 big blinds. We could go to like 2,000 something and never fold, but I don't want him to just call and then like a king on the flop, and then what am I gonna do? So I'm just gonna go all in. This guy a bit shorter than me actually calls, or yeah, calls. So at this point I figured like, what does he have? He happened to have aces, like the fair best hand against the third best hand. Not much I can do there. It's just a cooler. It happens. That's poker. Like normally, given the blinds levels, I only have 5 big blinds, so this is pretty brutal for me. We have 7-10, and let's say it folds around to here, and this guy goes all in. I have to call. Like I have to pay 3,500 to probably win. 4,500, 5,500, 6,000, 7,125. So yeah, I have to call there with 710 if this guy goes all in. But then this guy mean raises to 2,000 and he gets no respect in 2 colors. Now I have to pay 1,000 to win 8,625. Do I like it? No. Is it wrong? Definitely not. If he hit like a 7, I'm all in. If he hit like 10, I'm all in. I'm willing to pay another 1,000 and just get it in here. But we miss. We totally miss. And this guy bets and we fold. Then they all fold. Like makes no sense, but okay. And then there's a pretty weird situation here. Well, not weird. Like this guy opens all in, which is pretty standard. Like if you have the situation where you have 16 big blinds and these two have 3 and 9, I would open here with like queen highs, jack highs, king highs, ace high, obviously, any pocket pair. Like you have to have a wide range to be opening, because if you never do this, you're never gonna win the tournament. Like you have to do this, especially given that even if like this guy has aces, he calls you. And you lose, you still have 7 big blinds, so it's fine. Given that he has to be so wide, I'm willing to call here. Like there's already so much in the pot. I have to pay 1,875 to win this. So I'm definitely calling. And then when this guy calls, I know I'm in big trouble. Like normally this guy has to fold, or usually folds, but given that it didn't, it's a bit rough for me. We do get lucky though. If you can see, we make a flush. This guy had 7s, So, and this guy had queen jack. Like, how do I win this hand? I have to hit both a 4 and a queen, or I have to make a flush or a straight. But a straight, like this guy, I would then be splitting the pot with this guy, and um, I can't just hit a queen because then this guy wins. So I have to either get this kind of board or hit both queen and a 4. Like, I'm terrible pre-flop. We can definitely look at this and see how lucky I got. We had like queen 4, and then this guy had queen jack, and then this guy had sevens. If you look at this, like, I'm 10.29%. That's terrible, man. That's like probably one of the worst situations you can be in, and just all because this guy has queen. If you put this at king jack, for example, you can see I jump up with like 11%. Like, just the fact that he has a better queen than me makes it terrible for me. But it happens. I mean, that's poker, and we got lucky. So now we actually have like 8 and a bit big blinds again. Jack 8. I think it. Nah, this guy opens 3 times, so I'm folding. Then we have 8-5, which I'm also folding to this guy's open. Deuce 7, definitely a terrible hand. I think I can jam this. Yeah, I have king 10, king high basically, but given that this guy's in the big blind, as I said before, I don't think this guy is any good. There's still plenty of people behind me to call, but like king high, I only have 7 big blinds. I'm willing to get it all in, and they all fold. There's plenty of hands here where just get it all in and actually, get everything. Here the ace 10, similar situation, actually a way better hand. So we get it all in, and again they all fold. So we just build up our stack again to 13,000, and this is something you have to do. Like, you have to just be willing to get all your chips in the middle, and hope to get there, or that it holds. Here we have ace jack. This guy opens. We have ace jack. I'm never folding this with 8 big blinds. Even against an under the gun open with 3x, he obviously calls. And we river straight, but we were ahead pre-flop. And he had 10 king suited, which is probably a terrible hand. Like, if we're 8-handed, he opens under the gun, like the first position, with a king 10 suited while he's deep. That can't be correct. That just can't be. Like, there's no hand that's worse, that's gonna be all in against you. I think he has to call though once he raises to that amount. Like, math wise, he's correct in calling with king 10. But like, just opening king 10 in there is wrong. But I don't mind. Like, I mean, as you can see, I have a decent stack size. Differently than the previous hand where I had ace 4 suited way earlier, I now have ace 2 suited in a similar position. But this guy has me covered this time. Plus, we have 19 big blinds. I'm willing to let this go if need be. This guy goes all in, and I'm just, I have to pay 13,000, a bit below 13,000 to win this. So I'm not exactly getting 2-1. So I just fold here. I could be ahead. Like, it could have just been that he had king queen, but I'm not willing to gamble at this point, or not in this situation. Like, I'm definitely willing to gamble, but just not here at this point. Given that, like, fours is a strong hand, but given that this guy goes all in and this guy just calls, I'm definitely gonna give up fours here. And I think I would have lost. I'm not sure. Oh yeah. So this guy has 6s, rivers a full house, and this guy has ace 10 of diamonds, rivers but it didn't matter. Like, all in pre-flop was flipping. 50-50 baby, or something like that. Ace jack here. I'm just gonna say, well, like, this guy opening and then this guy jamming. But I have ace jack, which is a strong hand. Like, if you consider this guy is doing it with any 2 cards, like queen highs and stuff, then this guy, has to rejam any king high hands basically, or just try to steal here. Then we definitely have to say, well, what do you got? Because I have ace jack. So this guy folds, which is just more money in the pot, and we flop our ace. Actually, yeah, we flop our ace. And the guy has queen 10. I don't think doing this with queen 10 is that good though, because if he calls, you're in such a terrible spot. So we won, and we get instantly rewarded with ace king. Then this guy, who already did this with king 10 suited, by the way, or something similar, we're never folding this. No way in hell we're folding ace king suited here. And on the river, he is just gonna run out, and he also had ace king. We're actually a favorite there, by the way, because ours is suited. We have like 4% advantage. We have 52%, I think. But it, if he would have hit flush, that's just real lucky by us. Queen jack would have opened, but given that this guy goes all in, I'm folding, and we probably would have lost this. He has ace 4 and he has 6s. Not a bad flop for ace 4. Ace queen, pretty strong hands. I have 25 big blinds, so I'm just gonna raise, and then this guy calls. Now you might look at this and say, well, the flop is pretty good for us. We have our queen, we have an ace, but the board is very connected. Like if he has like jack 10, queen 10, 9-10 even, he could already have a straight. It's somewhat scary, so I'm gonna bet this. But if he check raises me, I'm really debating folding there. But he didn't. He just folded. So we pick up more chips, and then we switch tables again. So I have no idea who any of these guys are. And we switch tables yet again. By the way, we switch tables really fast here. I think 3 times in a row. Ace 4 would have been strong just to attack this, but given that this guy is all in, I can't attack it. Then this guy also calls, which is also all in. Then this guy gets an easy choice to just call. This guy had ace 9, this guy had deuces, and this guy had jack 9. So he reversed the 3 outer he had. Here we have king jack. I'm gonna thought I was gonna fold this, but I'm not. Yeah, I think this could be a mistake. Like very similar to the other guy. We have to fold if someone goes all in. Like we have to call this guy, but that's it. Like everyone else has me covered. So if any of these goes all in, I have to fold king jack here. Outside of this guy, I have to call this. So this guy calls, he folds. We hit our jack. I'm definitely gonna bet here, and he just folds. So I'm happy I opened king jack there, but I think it's a mistake. Like it has to be somewhat wrong. Here queen 10. This guy goes all in, and I'm folding. No way I'm calling this. With just queen 10. The queen high is just that, queen high. And if he has like ace queen, I'm pretty beat. Ace 3, very similar to previously. We can just raise here given that we have 20 big blinds. No need to just go all in. And then this guy calls. The board is somewhat scary. Like we have... What backdoor do we have, right? If we bet here and he calls or raises us, we have to fold. But if he calls, we're just gonna give up as well unless we hit a king and a 10, I think. But we just bet, like, I think we have to bet this at least once. And he just folds. Definitely taking note of that he called there and then folded on that kind of board. I could take a bunch of notes, you just can't see it in the replayer. Again, this guy limping, taking a note. King queen has to be an open. If I open king jack, I have to open king queen. He goes all in, he calls. Like, the fact that he calls, like, maybe I call this, although very unlikely. But after he calls, I just threw it away like instantly. I didn't even think about it 2 seconds. I think one has ace king and the other one had a pocket pair. So yeah, pocket tens. I would be fine calling with against pocket tens. Oh, this guy was all in as well. But then ace king, had me crushed. So the tens win and actually bust 2 players. We have a7, which we're gonna fold here, and blinds went up again. Here we have king 10. I think someone goes all in, or nah, like there's two limpers or a bunch of limpers. This guy also calls. Here we could raise, but we could just see a flop and play it. Flop is jack jack 4, and this guy bets and he just takes it down, just gets it. Here we have pocket aces, and we raise with it. Like we could go all in here, but I think it's a bit better to just raise here. Like our hand is really strong. He calls. Flop is pretty good for us. Like we still have probably the best hand, and if we don't, we can always hit a diamond to get the best hand. So I'm willing to bet this. Like we want to get all our chips in here, right? What could he call with? He could call with like queen of diamonds. He could call with a single king. He could call even with a 6. Like if he has like tens with a 10 of diamonds. But I think if he has something like that, he would have went all in pre-flop. So we get the pot again, but I would like just having an entire stack there. But it didn't. It happens. 3-7, king 3, 3-4, just jumping through some more hands. This is turbo, so it's not that many hands. Oh yeah, ace 3. I think that's very similar. Oh yeah, this is those series. Okay, so ace 3, very similar to previously, where I only have seven blinds here. So I'm just gonna go all in, and they all fold. The very next hand, I get ace jack. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I have 10 big blinds this time. I'm just gonna say, well, I'm all in, and they all fold. Like, okay. As you can see, I already picked up a bunch of chips there. And we get ace jack again, and yeah, I'm raising. Like, I could have jammed as well. Like, both are fine. And they fold. Like, I thought someone, like, if I just raise there, I thought someone would be like, oh, this guy's just doing it every single time and it's gonna go all in on me, which I just instantly call, but they don't. And then we get ace king. And I'm gonna do something similar in this case, given that it is the fourth time in a row that I do this. I figured someone would be calling me pretty light, but they don't. I get like another round of ships. Like if you can see how many ships I've been picking up here, I probably doubled. And then I have ace queen, another really good hand, and they all fold. Like I haven't even done anything and they all fold. This should never happen, by the way. As soon as their end is in the game, and which is the post everyone makes, the payment everyone makes every hand, the stack you see in the middle. This guy and this guy should be attacking my blind, but they're not, so I definitely make a note on that. That these guys, gave me a walk there. Here I have king jack. Against a bunch of limpers, I can definitely call and see a flop. We flop nothing, so we're just gonna check and give it up. We had to pay a half a big blind. The 10, is somewhat interesting because we could hit a 9, but we're never gonna call this. And then this guy calls. This guy calls. I think he has a 10 and he has like 7. Yeah. So this is why, like, let's say he raises with jack 10, right? I'm probably folding, and he's probably folding, and this never happens. He never loses this. Instead, he decided to just call, and he lost more ships, which shouldn't happen. A7, definitely a solid hand to open, but given that this guy opens, I'm gonna fold. And then this guy folded, which again is a mistake. Can be right. Depends on what hand he has though, but I think it's not right. 94. Here we have queen jack. Again, bunch of limpers, so we just check. Oh, flop comes a king. We check and we fold. And then this is somewhat interesting, I think. I think this guy bets, this guy raises, this guy raises, this guy raises, or just calls. Then this guy bets, this guy raises. No, he just calls, and he has like 5-10 or something. Yeah, he. I have no clue, like this makes no sense. Like king jack, if you want to open it, at least open it. Don't do what he did and limp. And then when you have top pair, just min raise. Like it's definitely terrible play there. A7. Again, would open this, but given that this guy opens, I'm not gonna. Jack 7, king 8, 10 9. Ace King, really strong hand. Early position 10 big blinds. I'm all in dealer. This guy goes all in as well. He could definitely be doing this with worse hands. Like if he has Ace Queen, Ace Jack, I'm ahead. If he has pocket pairs, we're just flipping. It's very unlikely he has aces and queens, aces and kings, and we actually hit ace and a king, which isn't that relevant. And he had pocket jacks. So we're just like 50-50, or pretty close to like we're flipping. Like it's definitely not a mistake on any of our ends. This is obviously the mistake. Like you can't just call, and he says, "Well, screw you guys." So I'm gonna fold, and this guy's well, I just called this, so I'm gonna call, and this guy, I just called this, I'm gonna call. I think this guy has a queen, right? Someone has a queen. This guy has 8-9, which is terrible play by him, by the way. Just limping and then calling and all in. I think this guy had a queen, and yeah, he had a queen. Like this is also terrible. Like he at least had a hand. Queen 5, nope. Ace Dewey. Let's see. Again, call. We could be attacking this, but given that he just calls with Queen 9, he's very likely to call us again. Ace 9, but I think this guy, yeah. So we fold it again. Definitely the bottom of my range. Like I could be attacking this if I want to, but so far I actually haven't seen this guy be out of line. Like I haven't seen him do anything that warrants me attacking him there in that position. So there's no need to. Ace deuce, again similar situation. If we do get called, we have decent equity. We get called in 2 spots. This flop comes. This guy bets out, and I think this guy instantly re-raises. I just have ace high. Yeah, I'm not gonna call. So I'm out of this spot. And an ace comes. An 8 comes, and this guy has pocket jacks, and this guy has king jack. What went wrong here? Well, this guy decided to just call with pocket jacks pre-flop. Like he should be all in pre-flop, right? Once I do this, if you look at it pre-flop, I have this in there. So if you look at it pre-flop, he has 7 big blinds. When I raise here, there's 56,000 in the pot. 56,000. He has a stack of 77,000. He just has to go all in here. He just has to say, I'm all in. Like, he's very likely gonna fold king jack. I'm very likely, like, I have to fold ace deuce there. I can't call this. I maybe have to call this, but it's gonna be pretty close. Though instead he decides to just call, which is wrong. And then he just loses. Punished for his mistake, I guess. Like the flop is fine for him, but it's just pre-flop that he made a mistake there. Again, a walk. This guy should not be allowing that, so I have that guy tagged now as giving people walks. King Queen, definitely a decent hand. Given that he just called, I'm just gonna say I'm all in, and he folds. So instantly, I'm gonna make a note on that this guy just called a big blind in early position and decided to fold to an all in of 11 big blinds. But I don't mind. I mean, we get chips, which is all we want. This is how you actually play a tournament. You have to look at spots and relative hand strength, and just be aggressive towards people. Like if you can see, like I haven't actually been playing a lot of post flop play because it's a turbo. It's just more selection of hands. Like this hand, we have ace jack, right? You've seen me go all in with ace jack before, right? I mean, then you would say, well, ace jack is pretty strong hand. Yeah, it is. But when this guy goes all in, and this guy just calls, what does that say? Like, he is very early in position, right? Now he could definitely be out of line. I don't know. I don't know this guy. And he could definitely be out of line as well. But how often is ace jack gonna be ahead there? I don't think it's that often. And I can't just call here, because if I just call, then I have 90,000 left in a pot of 230,000 or something. Even more. Yeah, the pot is gonna be way bigger than that. And then there's still this guy to worry about, right? I'm only gonna hit the flop 1/3 of the time. So instead I have to go all in, and this guy is never gonna fold a hand that is just called 77,000 with. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to the ace jack here, because given this action, it's never gonna be good. We would have not gotten anything. This guy has queen 7, so that was definitely a lie. And I said like, yeah, that had to be a strong hand. So yeah, jacks. I was like, I think it's pretty standard to fold ace jack there, but that's a mistake that a lot of people would be making, to be, you know, getting it all in with ace jack there. Here we do have ace jack again, and this time we are all in. Like, it's totally different because now we are making the action, and this guy calls. We hit our ace and even get a straight. He had pocket 7. So again, we're flipping against this guy. That's the second time we're flipping against this guy and actually win. But it's never a mistake from our end there. This sizing is way too big again. I'm folding obviously, but I'm definitely noting it down that, you know, he sized his button there way too high. No clue what he does this with. He could have had aces and that's why he does it. But you should not do that. I would open a6 suited on the button against these two, but given that this guy went all in, I'm folding. 5-4, I'm gone. Queen 8, I'm gone. Ace queen, yay, strong hand. And I'm all in dealer. And they all fold. Okay, that's fine. More money to me. 10-8, I'm gone. 9-4, I'm gone. Queen 3, I'm gone. Queen 10, I think I played his hand. Yep. So it folds around to me. This guy went 3 times the amount of the big blind. Again, has to be a mistake. It can be correct to do this. Like, you're risking way too many chips. Like if he does it like 50,000 or even 45,000, it's gonna have the exact same result in 60,000. So you wanna have, like, if nothing changes, you just want, you know, the same thing. Given that it does it to 60,000, makes me feel that this guy is not that great, and that my hand could be good, and also that he's gonna make a bunch of mistakes on the flop. Let's say a queen comes or a 10 comes, he's gonna bet like 100% of all hands he does this with on the flop, and then we can just, you know, get it all in then. And get like more value. Like, we have to call 40,000 at that point to win 110,000. But on top of that, we're gonna get like an extra bet out of him here. So we check, we hit our queen, we check, he bets, and I'm just gonna say I'm all in. Like, if he has me beat here, if he has ace queen, kings, queen jack, those type of hands, if he has those, he has those. Like, I don't mind making this play. I think it's a solid play here, and he just folds. So definitely he didn't have it then, but that's what I mean with his definitely, he's gonna make mistakes there. He could have had ace king, I don't know. And he rear moved again, so we have king 4, king 7. I'm looking at the table. I don't think I have that much information about any of them, like even right now. Afterwards, maybe I'm not long at this table, I don't know. This guy again, 27 big blinds, maybe a bit too big to get it all in there. King 4, definitely attacking, and they both fold. Like, I'm fine with that. I would have had to call like any of them, and against any random 2 cards, king high is probably good. So again, that's a spot like you might say, well, king 4 can never be a good hand. Well, that's true. Like, it won't be a good hand, but it's a good hand to just, you know, take the blinds with. I mean, you have a king, right? That's pretty good. Like, you have to do those things, else you never win. Yeah, this is why I don't have lots of information on the previous guys. Just because, you know, I move tables rather quickly. 10 jack would have opened, but this guy, you know, is all in, and I have to fold there. Ace king, one of the best hands in tournament poker. This guy is all in, and I'm saying, well, I have an ace king, I have to call this. Given that he can do this with like I haven't shown this yet, okay, so I'll do it once. So let's say he does it. I have ace and the king, doesn't really matter which one I have. Let's say he does it with like these hands, right? let's say those are the hands he does this with. That's probably a bit too narrow. Like he could do this with king queen, but like a bunch of people don't do it with king queen. Let's say he does this with all those hands, maybe even this hand. I'm 53% against that entire range. I have to call this. Like if you take away this one and maybe this one, I'm maybe a bit unfavored, but like it just depends on what you think of the guy. But I'm pretty sure that he's wider than this. Could even be doing this with like these. But as you can see, like we're not making a mistake by calling here. So we call, we hit our ace. He had pocket eights, by the way. So we win this hand. Another flip one. So we have won a bunch of flips here. King Jack. I think I can open this, but I do not. Like I have opened it before. This time I didn't. No clue why I didn't. I'm not sure. Like there's no consistency in it. I think opening there with King Jack is wrong, by the way. But I did make that mistake earlier in the tournament. So did correct myself during the tournament, I guess. Queen Jack, definitely an okay hand, but given that this guy calls, I have to fold. I'm not a big fan of limping, of limpers. I just like to attack things, like here with a6. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So we open with a6, we're basically just stealing. This guy goes all in for 5 big blinds. We have to call, what is it, 108,000 to win 374. So we have to have 24%. Okay. So let's clear this. You can see this, right? Okay. So we have 8-6 of spades. Let's say he does this with obviously that range, but like most aces. Yeah, he has 5 big blinds. He does this with like any ace. He probably does it with these. Although, nah, not queen highs, probably not. Probably like any pocket pair as well. I think that's somewhat of his range. Maybe not these. I'm not sure about that. There can be some trash hands in there, but I think that's like most of his range there. And if you look at that, like we're 29%, so we actually only need 24% for this call to be correct. So we actually win. Like despite us being not a favorite in his hand, by far we're not a favorite in his hand. We're still not making a mistake by calling this, because we only need to win this 24% for this to be break-even play. So we call this. He just happened to have, you know, a way better hand than what we figured his range would be. He actually had pocket kings. No, he had king queen. I thought he had kings. That's a different hand, then I guess. So if you look at that exact hand, with 6, and he had the king and the queen. We're 37%, 0.79. Like we're definitely not making a mistake. We win this. We win 13% of the pot, extra. On top of that, so it's definitely not a mistake calling here. You might say, well, you just have 8-eye. That's true, but given that I opened it, I have to call it off there. Ace 4, we're folding. We could have opened it, but no, I don't have to open every hand. Like I just did it with a6. Ace queen. This guy opens, but I'm gonna go all in. I can just fold ace queen here. This guy calls. Flop comes ace high. He had a pocket pair. So again, another flip one. It happens. Like you definitely need to run decently. Same guy here. This time limping. We have pocket kings. He has 16 big blinds. He has 7 big blinds. I don't think just raising to like 300 is gonna be that great. I'm just gonna go all in, and they both fold. Sadly enough, like I definitely would have wanted someone to call, but it didn't happen. Like I'm fine with that. Queen, I think this guy, yeah. So we fold here, and this guy has to call. Like similar situation, he has to call 20,000 to win 190. Like he's never folding. Any 2 cards, like King 4 against Ace Deuce, he's actually correct in calling there. Like it's not a mistake to call there. I would call it with King king 4 for sure as well. Jack 8, no. 4 8, no. Another table again. King 7 under the gun, no thank you. 10 8. I think we're getting pretty close to I think we're getting pretty close to the final table. Nah, still like another table before this, I think. King 9 or this one all in with ace king even. Ace jack. I think someone is all in. He is all in. Given that he only has 4 big blinds, I'm definitely ahead here with ace jack. Let's bring in equilab again. We have an ace and a jack, and this guy is gonna have like all of these, a bunch of these, and then like a bunch of these, and then like probably these. Although king 10 suited has to be wrong though. Like maybe that's part of his range. Ah, god damn it. Did something wrong there. Like I did these two, not all of these. All of these. Come on. So bad at this. And then this, right? Oh, that's why I missed the okay, but yeah, we're 53% against that, so we have to call this. It has to be correct. They both fold, and this guy shows up with ace 3, offsuit, even a hand that didn't even include in the range because I thought he couldn't be opening with that, but apparently, well, he has 4 big blinds. I think any ace has to open, so I think that it's correct from him, and it's obviously correct from me. Ace king. I'm just gonna raise here because I'm under the gun and we have 19 big blinds. We want someone to make a mistake and shove over us, but it didn't happen. We have king 10. This guy's all in. 11 big blinds. This guy calls. Now we actually have to call 800,000. So we're getting 2 to 1, but given that we're against 2 players, this can never be correct to call. Like if it's just this guy and I have to pay 800 for that, sure. But given this, no, thank you. This guy had a7 and this guy had 9s. Unlucky for the 9s. It happens. King 9, this guy opens. I could call this, but given that this guy, only has this stack size, he is in within 2, and I don't want to actually be rumpling with this guy. Like, just say, okay, you can have this guy's stack. He has king 2s, he has queen 10, so I actually was ahead of him, but I didn't. This guy raises, and this is actually like a tight fold by me. Like I could have just went all in here as well against this guy. Like his raise is pretty odd, but I think he had it. Like I'm not 100% sure here. I think this is a spot I could be looking at in the near future of is it a mistake to fold the ace 10 there? It could be. Like it might as well be to be a mistake with the ace 10 suited. Like I think ace 10 suited has to be the bottom of my range. Like it's not that different from the ace jack suited previously. There's only 2 people behind me to act and stuff, so I think it could be a mistake to be folding that there. King 10, yeah. 7-10, no thank you. Aces, baby. This guy goes all in, and I'm gonna say thank you for the money. Just give it to me. He actually had 9-8. I'm very surprised he opened with 9-8 there, even offsuit. A pretty strong flop for him, but didn't get there. Ace queen. This guy opens, I think, and I'm just gonna say, well, thank you again for the money. I have ace queen. Actually, make the nuts on the turn. He has king queen, so we're definitely crushing him. And I think at this point, we're actually ship leader. There's only like 40 people left or something, and we're ship leader. And at one point even I have double the stack of the second biggest guy. So we're set for the final table here. Just have to play it, still solid. As you can see, there's a lot of people, missing here. And at this point I'm starting to single out this guy. Like looking at him making a bunch of mistakes, I'm surprised he actually made it a deep run with what his play is, because you'll see it in like future hands what he does. That can be correct. Here it has to be correct though. Like again, um, he has to pay 120 to win 510. His call is correct. Like no matter what hand he has, his call is correct. Flop comes 6-4-3. He checks. He bets. He is all in. Now at this point, he could be doing this with like plenty of hands. He could have like two hearts. He could have just a six. He could have sevens or something. Although I'd be surprised if he just had sevens. Or I would be surprised if he had sevens and not be all in pre-flop. This guy calls because he has aces, and this guy actually had 6-4. No, I'm not against anything this guy did. I think it's pretty solid. Calling with any two pre-flop I said. Like I would call there with 6-4 probably as well. Like nothing against the hand how it's played. It's just that after this he trash talked the guy. Yeah, really, he started trash talking this guy like not with me or something or stuff like that. Like, dude, seriously, you got lucky against aces. Don't be an asshole about it. For the same reason, like it could as well just be 6-5-3 or something like that, and you know, here this guy's automatically all in from the blinds, and then this is something like that has to be a mistake by him as well, right? Where the nines, okay. So it folds around to this guy, right? So this guy is automatically all in because of his big blind. It folds around to this guy. Why is he not attacking this? Like, if I have jack high here, I'm attacking this. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm all in. I happen to have nines, but how often am I gonna have a decent hand that's gonna call this? And very likely he's ahead of this. Like he only has to risk 123,000 to win 298. I think he has to be jamming here, or at least raising and trying to isolate this guy. Like he can raise and fold if I jam. Instead he folds, which is obviously a good fold given my exact hand, but I think it's a mistake by him. Definitely took note of that as well, but okay. Like just look at what this guy has. Like he had jack 4. Like how can you not be attacking that? Doesn't matter though. He didn't. 8-4. I could have attacked this, but I didn't. Definitely could have. 5-3. Gone. Oh, that's another hand. Like the guy makes a mistake, right? Yeah. He limps. First of all, he limps. What the hell? Then this guy is all in, and this guy is all in with two big blinds. Like he has to be all in. The fact that this guy is all in, he has to pay 1,000. He gets 1 to 40. 1.4 to 1. Is he right here 42%? No. Like, and what does he limp with to then call this off? Turns out he limped with King Queen. This guy had tens. This guy had King Queen. This guy had Ace Queen. So King Queen definitely is wrong. Bad play there. Like he has to open it, which is fine. Then this guy jams and this guy jams obviously, and then he can call it off. Like I'm fine with that. But just limping with King Queen under like 5-handed, terrible. So definitely took a note on it. And this is the final table, by the way. Yeah, this is the final table. And I have this guy was the only guy who covers me to my left. It's a bit annoying given that he's also, an idiot into a lot of pots. Like here again, he limps. I think maybe this limp is okay because this guy's automatically all in. But I would be attacking this. Like, just go like 240 or maybe even go all in. Like this guy is automatically all in. Is he really gonna risk his tournament life here? It's the final table. The pay jumps are huge here. Like it's a 27-cent tournament, and the pay jumps are like $98, but 80 is already way more. It's way more. Like it's way more. It's 16 or something, which is like doubling it, which is a bunch, right? If you go to like, if you just go all in, let's say you have King 4 and you go all in. This guy is very likely going to be folding some aces even. And you're definitely gonna be ahead of this guy. I think a limp is wrong. Like it can be correct. And then this guy goes all in. He calls. He has ace 9 and he has 9-10. I think 9-10 is definitely wrong there to limp with. He never would have folded ace 9 though, but like the end result is the same. But we bust his player and now this guy has a bunch of chips. It is somewhat useful to me that this guy has a smaller chip stack now, but given how loose he plays again, a limp, it can never be right. Like it can be, and then this guy limping over it. Like I'm pretty happy with seeing that these two are idiots, and then limp and bet like 560 into 630. Definitely taking a bunch of notes on this guy and trying to focus him, because he's gonna be making a bunch of mistakes at this table. I think the previous hand is a similar situation, right? So we have 8-7. We fold. He limps. Surprise, surprise. He's all in. He's all in, and then he calls. Like limp, all in, call. Yeah, no, that can't be right. Like, what did it do it with this time? This guy had pocket threes. This guy had ace 8, and this guy had ace 8. Like limping with ace 8 there has to be wrong. I'm actually happy this guy won again, taking away chips from this guy, and this guy busts. The problem is now that there's a bigger stack to my right though, and he's using it here. I could definitely just call this and see a flop. Like this is another situation where I have to be debating what I want to do here. Maybe I should have called, but given that this guy is still short stacked, and this guy is, I don't really want to play too big of a pot. Similar situation here. I have queen 10. It's definitely ahead of his calling range, given that we saw him call with like 6-4. Flop comes a6-4. We can definitely rep an ace, get him to fold like random hands like 7-9 and stuff like that. He calls though, so he has a piece of this board. Given that he is this bad, I already had a similar situation early on. Given that he's this bad, he's never gonna fold a pair. So we're just gonna check, and we're even gonna fold. Like we're just gonna check. Given that the heart came in, and he had 6-7. Like I don't blame him. Like this is just pretty normal. We have 9-6. Could have opened this, but I'm not. And again, limp, small blind versus big blinds. Can be right, dude. Can be. Check. Or he bets here, and this guy folds or something. Like over bets even. Like those are just terrible plays, but it's working out for him so far. Fold. I think he's all in. Ace 5 has to be the bottom though, and I fold. And he actually, this guy raises, this guy folds. So these are now heads up. I'm not sure who wins this. He has ace queen, so he probably wins this. Yeah, it was just flipping, and now we're 6-handed. Jack deuce. Fold. This guy is all in, and this guy folds. Not sure if he should have folded. Probably could call, but I mean, if he calls with the worst hand and then increases this guy's chip stack, no, it's okay. Queen 7 is a fold. This guy getting a walk can't be right. Then we have ace 3. Again, guy limps. And here I have a decision to make. I can just check, and, wait for this guy to bust. Like as I already said, page jumps are huge. But given that I see this guy Sarah basically limp and call with like terrible hands, hands I definitely have beat. Like normally you don't jam this, right? Because let's say I jam this, what's calling me? Like better races, pocket pairs, and I only have 33%, plus he covers me. And I'm actually tied in 4th place with this guy, or pretty close to being tied. But given that this guy, limps and calls with terrible hands, like ace 8, king queen, queen 10, stuff like that, we're favored against his calling range. So we have to jam this and basically say to this guy, well, you get out of the pot. I want, to have a 60% hand against this. If you go, yeah, if we check ICM, what does it suggest here? It says, yeah, it actually says we have to push. It actually says we have to push. I think so, right? I have no clue how to read it exactly. Let me figure this out. So if we push and he calls, this is the result in stacks compared to when we check probability 100% see a flop, I guess. Push equity is 44, check equity. So we probably should have checked then. ICM considerations. It's pretty close though. But I guess it's a mistake for me to shove then. Um, if you want to check at ICM. Like if we push and we win this by both folding, we have this ship stack. If we push and we win this, we have this ship stack against Sarah. If we push and a both call, we would have this ship stack. If we push and one calls, yeah, okay. But if we check and then win, I think it's close enough. Like, we're definitely ahead of this guy given that he makes so many mistakes. So we jam, he calls, this guy folds. And we actually were favorites. He had queen 10. So we bust in 6 and win 30 and a bit. Which isn't a bad result for 27s. Definitely would have liked to go deeper, but you know, we've won plenty of flips, and this is one we didn't win. We actually weren't flipping. We were way ahead. Like, let's just look at it. And how ahead we were. We had ace 3, and this guy had 10 queen. It's not gonna be huge though. Like, yeah, it's 55%. So we're not flipping. We have 10% lead. Maybe ICM considerations. We have to just check here, and then we can fold on this flop, and then, you know, continue playing. But we didn't. We shoved. We got called by worse hand, which is obviously great, and we lost. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next one.